Okay, this video is a long time coming, and basically I'm just going to show how I crimp my 454 Casull loads with the Neckdown Crimp. And that is from RCBS, and you can read about that crimp in the spear reloading manual. Number 14, it's in chapter 15. And in number 15, it's in chapter 14. But we'll just go over a few of the requirements, or whatever you want to call them, that you need to do the crimp. So one of the first things is to produce the crimp, you want to leave only a hairline of the Cannelure visible above the case mouth. And the Cannelure, they say at least 60 thousandths of an inch wide, and preferably square bottom. And then you can do this crimp if you have dies that are 1984 or older. So, and let's see, I'll just show you some examples here. So I get that to focus. I'll have pictures at the end that give you a better view of this, but you can do just a slight crimp, a little bit heavier, and then the full neck down crimp. Okay. And that is with jacketed, and also you can get some nice crimps with cast bullets as well. And this one may look familiar to some if you use the buffalo bore ammo or the grizzly cartridges. That sure looks like the crimp they use. Okay, and what I have here is 2 bullets that are ready to be crimped. And that's my hairline. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the jacketed bullet first. And the die is already preset, and so this is all the way down and basically 0 crimp, and I put a mark on top of the die so you're able to gauge how much crimp that you have, and so that it's easily repeatable if you need to. So there is 0 crimp, and we're going to just turn it a quarter turn. And there was just a little bit that I felt. Barely see just a little bit of crimp happening. We'll go a half. Got a little more. So I think you can see starting to crimp. We'll go 3/4. Coming in a little more. But when you start doing this, just go ahead and do it in increments, so you don't want to over crimp, or so I just did 1/8 of a turn, and that's looking pretty good. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's do 1 full revolution. Let's see what we get. And that looks real good right there. That's about what I like. Okay, you can go a little bit further. Let's do just another 1/8 of a turn. Okay, and you can feel it. You can feel when you start doing the neck down. It starts to really press it in. In the book it says that you're actually like ironing in the case into the Cannelure. Hopefully you can see that good. But that's about as far as I want to go on that. Okay, so that's a pretty good crimp. Let's go ahead, let's do our cast. All right, so we will start over. Make sure our 0 is at the same spot, and it is. Okay, so there's 0 crimp. And we're going to go 1/4. And that did a little bit, not much. Let's go 1/2 a turn. And it's starting to go in there pretty good. Let's go ahead, let's do another 1/4 turn. And that's starting to come in. You can it's starting to neck it down just slightly. Okay. Now we're going to do 1/8. And you can feel the pressure going in. That's a pretty good looking crimp right there. So, you know, you need to experiment, you know, make some dummy rounds and see where you want to go. And that's the whole point of the mark. It's like, okay, I like, you know, 3, well, what is that? That's, we can say that's like 10/30. But then let's go ahead, let's go 1 full turn. And you can really feel it. And that's a pretty good looking crimp right there. You know, you can maybe go a little more. That's up to you. Like I said, experiment with some dummy rounds and see what you like. Okay. You really feel the force too. You'll learn to feel it. One thing you don't want to do is, and I did this on purpose, just to show, if you put too much crimp, you'll start to buckle the case. So you don't want to do that. That's too much crimp. Okay. And then it talked about the size of the Cannelure. Now here, these are the Hornady, the XTP mags. And the Cannelure on here is like 585, 58.5 thousandths. And then this one, this is a Lehigh, what are these? Extreme penetrators. Okay, so you can see that the Lehigh has a much larger Cannelure. I believe that was like 67 thousandths. And you can see the difference in the size of the crimp, or the neck down portion. We'll get that to focus. So, produces real good crimps. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah. Okay, so when you do a full neck down crimp, and it's really, you know, it's really in there. You have that sharp angle on the brass. My opinion is that's a one-time case. And because, see if you can see it, it leaves a ring on the outside, on the outside of the case, and also the inside. So if you're, or let's see, why would you want to do a full neck down if you're loading, you know, full pressure loads, and you know, you want a good reliable crimp, and of course you want to test your crimps like I did in my crimp jump video. You know, make sure your crimp is going to hold. But if you're going to go full neck down, just beware of that. That's just, I'm not going to try to reload these again. Let's see, what else? Just as a little extra, I got this cool case gauge from Shooter's Box. Upside down, there we go. And this is pretty cool. It's stainless steel, so that means it doesn't rust. And you can check your cases, make sure they're not, you know, too long. And, you know, the rim is okay. I do have one from L.E. Wilson, and of course this one is all rusted up. And this one too, you know, it does the same thing. And you should check your, you know, all your loads, all your cases, actually before you load them, because after so long you might have one that the rim is out of spec. And these are Hornady brass. This is like the 5th reloading, and I think that the Hornady is a little too soft, you know, in my opinion. But you know, I don't know why Wilson made this one so long. It's much longer than the Shooter's Box. Right, this is that is Sammy spec. Right, so you drop it in, you want to make sure it comes out easy. But real nice case gauge. And let's see, I think that's probably it. But like I said, just, you know, when you do your crimps, dial it down till you get the crimp you like. Go and test your crimps, right? You got 6 cartridges you want to test. You know, drop 5 in, measure your 6th, shoot 5, and then remeasure the 6th one to see if you got crimp jump, if your crimp is solid enough. And it's like, okay, I did, you know, 3/4 on that one, and it kind of jumped. Let me go, you know, 1/8 more, or, you know, another 1/4. And like I said, when you mark this, you can tell, and you got a good idea of how much crimp, you know, repeatable crimp that you can put on there. So I think that's probably it. Just, well, one more thing about when you seat the bullet, the hairline. You know, no matter how hard I try, the cases aren't perfectly, you know, the same. There's always something a little bit different, or even it could be the bullets. But, you know, the hairline, when you seat your bullets, it's like you got to do them one at a time, or at least I do. And make sure, and then dial it down. Make sure, you know, you don't go too far or too less of your hairline. But I think that is the best crimp that you could put on the 454 Casull. That's all I use now. And I think that's going to be it. So hopefully the Casull brethren has found that useful. Any questions, comments, you know what to do. So take it easy. Thanks for watching.